welcome to Let's Talk Chiropractic. I'm your host, Liz Tolan. I'm here once again with Dr. Stacy Sando and Dr. John Degenhart, and we have a gentleman who has come to see us today, a mailman.
Absolutely.
A mailman. That's great. I love mailmen. That's super.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Greg Bulka.
Yes.
Welcome to Let's Talk Chiropractic.
Thank you.
And you know, I mean, I don't know. I think you guys just do such great work and all kinds of weather, and you have to walk around and.
That's awfully sweet of you to say that.
It's a hard job.
It is.
It's a really hard job.
We appreciate it. We really do. So.
Well, we appreciate mailmen, so we'll just start with that. Now, you are a recent patient.
Absolutely.
Of Dr. Degenhart, and you are also an athlete, from what I understand.
Slight, yeah.
Work out in the gym.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it was in the gym where you kind of got into a little bit of trouble.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Overestimated my abilities, maybe, but yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what happened when you first had your injury.
It was just a normal workout as I was progressing through. It was a leg workout, and I was trying to do squats.
Okay.
And it's an awkward exercise to begin with.
Sure it is.
You have the weight behind your neck and you squat down and try and explode up through. And again, just normal workout, not really having any difficulty or anything like that. And I hit like a third rep of like 225 pounds. And when I went to explode up, it was an explosion in my back.
Yeah.
I never experienced anything like that in my life. It literally was pain from the right to the left side of my body, and it was like a muscle spasm, and it definitely caused me to, almost stumble and, try and force and get everything back up. And as soon as I did it, I knew there was something wrong. So immediately stopped, you always hear ice, ice, ice. So immediately went upstairs, stopped doing what I was doing, did the 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off, and I did that for about 2 hours. And again, acute soreness, really couldn't move all that well, was kind of like rolling out of my seat and things of that nature. But it woke me up, and I was like, this isn't right at all.
Not good.
Not good, no.
Dr. John, athletic, physical activity, and the skeletal system, squats especially, so critical. First of all, the weight load. Second of all, the proper alignment. Tell us a little bit about the spine and what kinds of things you need to be careful for.
Squatting is a technique that's a little bit tough on the body. But he was, according to most squat people, 225 is not real heavy. Some guys do 300, 400, 500 pounds. Listen, those guys, I've seen it, they have to put these bandages on their knees in the gym to support their knees. So you could tell by looking at him, he's been doing it for a long time, so his technique was good. Again, I think something was weak prior to squatting.
So there was a pre-existing injury. Well, when we come back after the break, we're going to talk a little bit about that, and we're also going to talk a little bit about what brought you to see Dr. John. You're watching Let's Talk Chiropractic only on WYLN. Please stay with us. We're back right after the break. Welcome back to Let's Talk Chiropractic. We are here and we are talking to this gentleman who is a mailman. Now, I have to ask you, are you the kind of mailman that walks around, or do you drive a vehicle?
Well, I do. It's a park and loop. It's a combination of both. You drive the truck. You'll have some deliveries which are called dismounts, where it's just quite simply you'll park, hop out, hit a house or two, get back in, and then you'll park and do a loop of houses. You know, so yeah, we're out all the time.
So, Greg, this is not an easy to accommodate an injury job.
No, not at all. And that was the big thing with this injury too. I did it about 3 weeks ago, so I was looking forward to, I had this week off on vacation. So my thing was, if I can just suffer through, get through, I'll have this week off, and I can rest, put my legs up the whole 9 yards. So again, the job does factor into any kind of injury, anything that you have to, accommodate for it and think about it. So. And
the weather. And the weather, the cold, Dr. John, even though you're icing an injury, the cold weather, Stacey, it seems to make injuries worse.
It does. I mean, the barometric pressure increases, pressure in our joints. So when you have an injury and you already have inflammation inside the body, and then you have pressure on the outside and increasing the pressure as well, you get like a double-edged sword. So even people that have healthy backs tend to be sometimes stiff at times in the winter and cold weather. Unfortunately, when you get an injury, it takes longer for that injury to heal, and it just makes it 10 times worse.
And I guess with someone who's doing physical activity, especially serious weight activity in a gym, warming up in proper form and all that is very important. tell me a little bit about what happens to the skeletal system when you're doing these weight-bearing exercises.
Well, now he's doing a squat, which is a short burst muscle. He's trying to build quite short burst strength. So, I mean, it really is a great exercise from personal training background to build the muscles in the lower back and to get that, like as football players, that short, quick burst of strength energy. But what happens is there's an axial loading on the spine. And so our discs in our back, remember, they're there for shock absorption and to absorb all that axial loading. So when you do a squat, you have the bar behind your neck, you have your spinal cord in full extension, he squats down, and the fulcrum lands right on the small of the back, like L3, L4 area. So if there's enough loading and already possibly a slight misalignment in that area, well, it's kind of like, even though he probably wasn't, but inside, it's like his body's holding it kind of tilted. So the muscle will then spasm around it, the disc, all that fluid is starting to press out of the disc, and boom, you have your injury, a compression type of injury right in that spot. So then barely able to stand back up. When you sit down, can't get out of a chair, difficulty walking. So I'm sure dismounting out of the truck would be almost impossible.
It was like a roll out the door, so.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you tried to ice it yourself and you tried to
Absolutely.
press through the pain.
Absolutely.
Didn't work out so well for you.
Not at all. Not at all. You know, in hindsight, it was 2020, but I definitely should have reacted a little bit better and, you know, went out of my way to address the situation more than I did. But again, you know, you just always have it in your head, oh, you can tough through, just do it.
Especially athletes, we tend to do that. Tough it out. Doesn't always work.
Yeah. No, no, it does not.
So how did you come to find Dr. John and Dr. Stacy?
Again, Dr. John, his father was a letter carrier. So again,
Really?
yes. So
Did not know that.
Absolutely.
We learned something today.
Yep. See that? And I mean, so the Deeganhart name is, you know, he probably serves a lot of letter carriers, and so I mean, the name is out there. Delivered to his house, beautiful house, by the way, Cyber Street. Again, so again, you know, you see the face, you know the name, you've seen the TV show, and the thing that really jumped off the screen to me was the office hours and just the openness of the office itself. I mean, I called, about 6:30 in the morning and got immediately picked up and said, okay, when can you get here?
Wow.
Yeah, as soon as I could shower and throw myself together, got in the car and came over.
Excellent.
So, I mean, that, again, that's huge this day and age.
Sure it is, because
Yeah.
sometimes, you know, I don't know about you, but I know for myself, we're so busy.
Oh,
we're so
gosh,
busy.
definitely,
And
definitely.
if someone tells me, well, I can't see until tomorrow, or I can't see until 6 o'clock tonight, I just might not do it, because I get so busy with my day, and even if I'm, you know, if I know I need to go do something.
Absolutely.
So having that readily available help.
Oh my God, especially to work around people's work schedules and things of that. I mean, it was perfect. It was a godsend for me. Godsend. I can't tell you how happy I was.
So you came in, you saw Dr. John.
Right.
Dr. John?
Absolutely.
Dr. John, what was your approach with this patient?
It was exciting that he couldn't believe that we were there to answer the phone, I think,
Yeah, it
6:30.
was wonderful.
I'm kind of surprised that you were there.
Yeah,
on the phone at 6:30.
absolutely.
We
That's
get there
great.
6 o'clock. The secretaries don't come till 7. 'Cause
That's nice of you.
They think we're crazy. 'Cause I guess I've been doing it for 33 years. I'm just used to getting up that early.
Oh, bless.
But when he came in, I told him how there's 2 sacroiliac joints.
Absolutely.
And then when he did the squat, I want people just to understand what we're doing. I hate when I hear the stories that chiropractors didn't explain anything. They just racked and cracked them and gone. So I said, Greg, let's see if the joints are in alignment. So we did a Deerfield test. Remember, the patient lays on their face down. As you bend up the legs, the right leg was about a ½ inch longer. So I said, let's go take an X-ray, because, again,
Definitely.
in trying to investigate, he started telling me even then, I said, Greg, before this happened, the body should have given you some signals. And it did.
It absolutely was. And again, I ignored them, trying to overcome them and things of that nature. But and my wife and my coworkers and everything, I can crack my back at will. But on a chair, or just I'll throw this leg and spin my body. And people have heard it and seen it, and they're like, there's some days you're not going to come back from that. And again, but it never really registered in my mind that, oh, this isn't normal. This isn't something you should be doing. But it did bring me, some relief and things of that nature. But then when Dr. John started discussing it with me, I'm like, I guess I have been kind of off for a long time, and I should have did something about it. And
You don't like when people crack their own backs, Dr. John.
Remember the previous show, the previous show, that young man was cracking his own neck. It's just as damaging to crack your own back, though, Liz. A good back, you know, you might wake up in the morning, hear a couple little clicks, but not, I've seen people, do you ever see, Liz, where they literally twist themselves the opposite way?
Yes, and
to me, you could wear down the discs and cause more damage. So I think right now, though he's doing better already, he's not going to crack his back anymore.
It's an education already.
So he
really
has
is.
a great future for himself now.
Absolutely.
And he's listening, which is good. We talked about that on a
That's great.
previous show,
Absolutely.
that it really helps if you participate in your own treatment.
Definitely. I can't even tell you, I was able to put socks on and tie my shoes for the first time.
The little things we take for granted. We've spoken about that before. When we come back after the break, Dr. John, I want to hear about what he needs to do going forward, and then just get some general advice from you and Dr. Stacy for athletes so they can kind of head off this type of injury.
Good.
You're watching Let's Talk Chiropractic, only on WYLN. We're back after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Let's Talk Chiropractic. We're here with Greg, our letter carrier, postal person, and we're hearing, first of all, you look and feel much better.
Oh my God, I can't even tell you. It's two different worlds, how I felt. Especially, got progressively worse through the weeks, but then this past Friday, I don't know if it just got to the point where enough was enough or I did something, but the pain was unbearable. It really was.
Dr. Stacy, we've spoken about this before. You know, before we went on break, he was saying how he can now put on his socks and his shoes. The little things, the quality of life when someone's having severe pain.
I mean, when you look at someone and they come in, it's not only about getting them pain-free, but it's getting them able to do the things that they love, not only the simple things, but the things that they love, like definitely putting on socks and shoes. That's step one. But then eventually, you know, getting you back to the gym and getting you back to working out. Maybe not so much squatting would be my wish, but you know, that's up to you guys to talk about it. But obviously, getting him back to do those things with ease and you know, not being afraid, not thinking about the back before he does some of those things too. Very important.
And learning to trust in his body again.
Yes.
That it can do the things that he wants it to do.
Re-earn its trust.
And I guess for those squats, you'll have to find one of those machines that's assisted, so that keeps you in proper alignment. Dr. John, what are some of the other treatments that you did with Greg?
We knew that we had 1 week that he was off of work to get him back to work, because next week, I'm assuming this weather, it's still going to be cold and icy and slippery, and these guys, I don't know how they don't fall in steps. Because you know, he told me when there's a big snowfall, people shovel. But when there's these nuisance snowfalls, people don't shovel. Because there's an inch here and an inch there, so it's probably even more treacherous for these guys.
It is because, again, the snow compresses, it turns to ice, and again, it's the little things, like you have to go grab a banister, you start feeling yourself going, and you try and catch yourself. And it is, and I know,
And again,
it'll be
you're
a
in that
problem.
cold,
Yeah.
which is making everything worse.
So once we made the adjustment, Liz, and I knew that was in alignment, you could put electric stim, which is a form of physical therapy to relax the spasm muscles, ultrasound to reduce some inflammation, just to help the body to heal as fast as we can. What's great about him is most athletes, when I say to them, don't play basketball for the week or don't go to the gym for the week, yeah, I think he has a balance, but some people, Liz, are like addicted to it, like some runners.
Why is he looking at me?
Not you, but some runners,
I listen.
they'll say to me, well, can't I still run 3 miles a day? And Liz, all it does is it prolongs the healing. So if you can envision a joint shifts, I get it back in. But if he went back to squatting the next day, Liz, it would have went right back out again. So he was very cooperative. He was like, okay, forget the gym for this week. Just get me ready for work.
But Greg,
So-
you were in pain. You didn't want to go back to that pain.
No, but I mean, it does have, you do have that mindset where you're like, you know, I'm just sitting around, I'm not doing anything, I'm used to doing stuff, I want to do stuff.
This is what I
and
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Dr. John, you did the ultrasound. And what does the ultrasound do? I know we've spoken about ultrasound before, but how does that help in the treatment?
Microscopically, Liz, when his right sacroiliac, you know, I think she explained it beautifully the way when he did the squats. So that pressure on his spine, the sacroiliac joint was probably already out a little bit, Liz, and it gave out even further. So I shifted back, but there's like a miniature tearing of the localized muscles.
Okay.
So when you put like a little cream, you know, on his skin, and for about 10 minutes, as you rub this instrument, there's an ultrasonic wave. When you were pregnant,
Well,
did they
that's
do
what
an
I'm thinking
ultrasound?
about, but I'm trying to figure out how that helps his
It's
back.
the same machine
But it's the same
where
machine.
they can tell the sex of the child, but this is a different frequency. So there's an ultrasonic, Usually he just feels like a warm feeling.
Absolutely. It's very comfortable. It
Didn't
really
hurt.
is. No. Oh my
But it
gosh,
just
no.
helps those damaged tissues, Liz, just to sort of settle down a little bit faster, like I said. So he had a choice, Liz. He could have went to the ER room,
Oh,
popped a
gosh.
bunch of painkillers. But I guess somewhere in his mind he thought, let me get to what we feel is the cause. If I gave him a bunch of pills, Liz, he would still had a misalignment. Our way, at least, is get it in alignment.